Want to heal wounds and tough skin conditions faster? Revolutionary Silver Honey Rapid Wound Repair is proven to kill 99.9% of bacteria immediately, so wounds and skin conditions can heal faster and your horse can feel like it never even happened. Use Silver Honey on cuts, wounds, rain rot, scratches, sweet itch, and other tough skin conditions. Silver Honey is new from Absorbing. Learn more about Silver Honey at silverhoney.com.
Good morning, my name is Frid, and welcome to our ranch here in the western side of Pilot Point, Texas in North Texas. And today we're going to go through a lot of different videos talking firstly about trail and starting with a younger trail horse and then moving to one that is just a little bit more finished and then moving on to some western riding and then finally discussing some horsemanship and some of the basic drills that we do, not really coaching the students as much as what we do teaching the horses and preparing the horses for competition. What I want to start off with first is what I believe and what I'm looking for out of my horse whenever they're performing. And this is going to carry through in each one of the segments. So at any time, if you hear me talking about body position and you're a little confused, it would be great to refer back to this video because I just want to talk again, I want to talk about what I want out of my horse, where I want their body, where I believe they should balance when they're traveling, and the reason why. So to start off, we have actually a 3-year-old gelding that we're going to use for the beginning of our trail and kind of showing what we do with some of our younger trail horses when we're teaching them. He's a little bit, he's not beginner, but he still is just a 3-year-old and has only shown a few times. He is, pretty good at what he does, but he probably still will make some mistakes. I haven't gone over any trail poles yet today, so you're gonna really see it from scratch and see how my day starts. The first thing I wanna emphasize though is balance and body position and structure out of my horse, balance and body position out of me. And I am not a perfect horsemanship rider, I don't claim to be, but I do think that I sit in the middle of my horse fairly well, and I definitely work hard at maintaining a rhythm and a cadence when my horse is traveling. So I want to start from the hind end of my horse. The hind end is the power. We have a rear wheel drive vehicle, and I constantly am focused on my horse's hind end propelling itself forward. Now, we talk about a horse in some of our rail classes, maybe our Western Pleasure or even our under saddle or whatever, that they maybe have a little bit of a cant to them. And I would say I want a little bit of a cant to my horse. I believe it's natural for a horse to have some, but I don't want him over canted. I don't want my horse traveling sideways. But that hip, that joint up there, it's a pivoting joint. For their hip to drive up underneath of themselves, it has to drive either up under to the left or to the right to really be situated properly underneath of them. My horse's outside hind leg is its most important leg in every single gear. That is the most important, most powerful leg that they have. And that's the one that I want really directly underneath of their body. And you're gonna see, especially with Cole here, that I have to push his hip a little harder being a younger horse and maybe not balancing quite as well. But in everything I do, I want my horse's hip to be underneath of themselves. So if I'm going left, you're going to notice my hip is underneath of them to the left just a little bit. If I'm going to the right, the opposite, my horse's hip is underneath of them to the right. I just want that rib cage to stay square between my legs. I don't want them leaning to the left or to the right in any manner. And in most cases, when our horse gets away from us, whether it goes forward, it leans sideways, whatever, it really is the rib cage that is the first thing to move. We tend to, and you'll even see that, I might manage him by holding his mouth, but really I'm holding his mouth and manipulating his neck in order to get control of his body and to get control of his rib cage. We just want that to be centered underneath of us all the time. Moving forward, we have their shoulders The same thing. We want their shoulders basically just to be right in front of their rib cage. I discuss often when I'm coaching people that to keep their shoulders up. And you're going to see when I do some of these trail obstacles, I want Cole to keep his shoulders up. Up doesn't mean up in the air. It doesn't mean way out in front of me up here. It means up and maybe slightly to the outside of the direction I'm going. So when I'm traveling to the left, I want his shoulders up with me, maybe just to the outside to the right. Remembering that his hip is propelling him forward all of the time. Obviously the opposite when I'm going to the right, I want his shoulders up slightly to the left. And what I'm gonna do with him versus into our next segment with a more finished horse is you're gonna see me, I'm gonna ride him two-handed and I'm gonna support and hold him and show him and teach him through repetition the body position that I want. Moving forward from that, you know, we have their head and neck, and when we're watching a horse travel, their head and neck is a huge piece that we tend to watch, don't we? You know, Cole's kind of up looking around right now, but I want his neck to be, you know, level. I want his nose to be out just a little in front of him, but that is one of the hardest pieces to teach. And it really is the last piece that I worry about when I'm teaching some of my younger horses. If they get a little, maybe too bridled or too tight, I don't worry about that as long as I can control the body. So again, the top line, it really is the last piece that I worry about teaching. And I joke, if we could just remove their neck from their body, this horse would be really easy to train. Because, and you're gonna see once I start going over poles, I'm gonna keep trying to teach Cole to keep his neck square out in front of him and looking where he's going. Whenever he moves that neck around, the rest of his body is going to move behind it. And that's going to get him out of frame. It's going to get him out of balance. And again, in everything that I teach, I am very, very focused on my horse being balanced, being structured, being in frame all the time. I may take them out of their frame, but then when I release, my goal is to teach them that they find that frame on their own, again, through repetition. It takes 5,000 times of me showing a horse to do something for them to get it right once. And if I have a horse that it takes like 20 times and they get it right, then I have a really great individual and I'm lucky. But it's that show them repetitively over and over and over. And I try to always do multiple small corrections. And that's how I'm constantly riding. I constantly have communication with my horse. I'm constantly connected with them. I ask my riders to be the same way. And again, when we get into some of our later videos, especially, you know, when I'm showing you how I drill my Western riders or work with my horsemanship horses, my main focus is not that my horse can do something perfectly. It's that my rider can touch it and communicate with it and have some form of a positive answer out of that horse, so things that can continue to go at least well. They might not always go perfect. My goal is that things don't erupt into something going extremely poorly.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Ride Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and please be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow Horse and Rider Magazine on social media and find us at horseandrider.com.
If you guys have any questions or comments, please be sure to hit us up at horseandrider@equinenetwork.com. We want to hear from you guys.
And if you like what you're listening to, be sure to leave us a review on iTunes.